Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Play responsibly. You must be 18 years or older.
Good times.
Good times.
Allie Clifton, Chris McGee, Mike Bresnahan. Before we dive into all things Lakers,
How's
as they're
everyone
moving on, you already know what we're going to do.
What?
It's been an emotional weekend for our friend.
It has.
And rightfully so, and in all the best ways. Congratulations
Thank you.
to Millie
Thank you.
and her team. Would you like to share?
It's a big win.
What happened?
It's a big weekend. Chris McGee.
What happened?
National champion again.
I blacked out.
MVP, Millie.
Yeah. I'm
McGee.
super proud of her. And what a way to go out. Ultimate walk-off, 18s, Junior Olympics. They won 2 national championships in 3 years, which is super cool. They medaled all 3 years, the only team in that age group to medal all 3 years in a row. And it was fun yesterday in Reno. They actually kind of steamrolled on day 3, quarterfinals, semis, and finals, and that was kind of unexpected, but they just played at that level, and it was super awesome. And then obviously, her getting MVP is the team. It's hard to pick on that team because they really are a true definition of a team. Like, they've been together forever, all the parents. But for her to, I don't know, to have that moment, I think I was in complete shock. A lot of. Do you guys know me? A lot of tears, but also very, very special. Very, very special.
Was she shocked by the MVP?
Well, I missed it because when they called her name, I let out a word that I can't say here because I was like, wait, what the? And then because everyone's watching me, I don't really remember much of it because I was supposed to focus on her but I started kind of getting emotional, and the coaches were all watching me from the stage because they knew it was coming, and I dropped down and I was like, oh my God. And then I came back up, and then she's there with all the other All-Americans and her 2 teammates, and they're pointing at me, laughing kind of, and she's looking at me with this big trophy. And she's like, what are you doing? And I just said, I don't care. Love you.
Aww.
I don't care. And she's like,
Nice.
love you. Yeah. So it was it was a fun moment. But yeah, I'm like, can someone have video? Is there video? Everyone's got their cameras out, but I didn't have mine out at all. I didn't have my phone. I had it in my pocket all day. I couldn't, outside of giving updates to all of you, but I wasn't
Good job, Dad.
I wasn't shoot, because I figure everyone else is always going to have the videos. So I'm like, can I see that again, please? So it was super cool.
That's something she'll remember forever.
Yes.
And you as well.
Yeah, you can't ever take that. Yeah, well, it's funny. They've already moved on. She's already okay, SC, and it's but the dads are and the moms are like, do they know that we're going to talk about this every day for 35 years? But yeah. So it was super cool. Thanks for bringing that up.
I couldn't imagine. As a father, as a parent.
Mm-hmm. Good times.
That's
really a Morongo. It's really Morongo.
I was going to say, that is a great way.
It is good times.
That's what I read. Roll right in.
Mama knows.
Okay, so here we are. Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. Starts up Tuesday.
Is there another? Is there playoffs still going on?
Are there playoffs still going on?
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Yep.
Obviously, coming off of a big Game 6 win on Friday.
That was fun.
When you look ahead, though, JJ Redick said that there's no timetable on Luka Doncic just yet. Shams reporting it's still a slow path on Doncic's recovery. He's doing more and more on the court, but right now he's still not full-fledged running or full contact workouts. That, I think, is worth noting, too, because there are now photos, videos of him being out on the court, getting some shots up today. So I think it just adds a little bit of context to what's really going on. On the other side of this matchup with the Thunder, Jalen Williams sustained a hamstring strain against the Suns in their first round. Mm-hmm. So both sides dealing with some injuries to start this series. With that said, what are kind of your thoughts going in?
Brez, I don't know for you, but when it comes to Luka and Jay Will, I think both teams are, you're not better, that's for sure, but you've gotten used to playing because there's just no other choice. I know Jay Will had some injuries during the year. Lakers had to play some games without Luka. And, when you're doing it in a short stint, it's different than when you do it long term. And the Lakers, they didn't have AR for a long time too. So they've now adapted and are playing their way. And I think in their eyes, you're going into this series without him. And if he comes back
as a whole,
mm-hmm. I think that's how you have to. I mean, listen,
especially the Lakers.
And you could speak to it more, but the hamstring is a different kind of injury. It's just not something you can tape up and play through pain because the tenderness of it and the ability to do it again. And we've seen what happens throughout the playoffs with these guys that it happens to. Peyton Watson missed most of the year. Aaron Gordon missed a lot of time. So there's all kinds of things that go into this. But I think they have to approach it we don't have him.
Yeah, that's a great call.
And if he comes back, cool, let's go.
Yeah, it'd be like a nice mid-round pickup off the free agency pile.
Yeah.
And it seems like for sure Jalen Williams is a lot more ahead of the game. He had only a grade 1. He's been out since April 22nd, so it's been 10 days or so. he's probably going to come back in game 1 or 2. It sounds like, Luka, Shams report, a little bit less clear, and it's just if you listen to the coaches, OKC's, they're all saying today or maybe over the weekend, he's progressing pretty well. He's making good progress about Jalen Williams. So that sounds pretty optimistic, whereas J.J. Redick, well, it's still indefinite, and he's merely shooting. Allie, you kind of said it right there in what you just read. He's not running yet. If Luka's running, it has to be
Pivotal part of the game.
Yeah, that would help, right?
And then there's the physicality part of it.
Yeah, so you got to get running, then you got to get physical.
Yeah.
Neither one yet. It's going to be, I'm just guessing, but you're going to have to go 5 games maybe to get him into this thing, at least.
But I'll say this, Jay Will is a huge part of what they do too. So
Yeah.
I think for them, they want to get him back at some point as well. And I know they're probably thinking long term. They're huge favorites in this series, and they're thinking of defending their championship. You don't want to rush him back.
No.
For sure.
And Guy, do you know how many games he played this season? He played only like 33 games in the regular season.
That's a big part of it.
I mean, he missed the first couple months, then he got hurt again.
And they were the 1 seed.
Yeah. How about that? So talk about a team used to playing without their guy.
Yeah.
And he's easily, I should say easily, in my mind, he's their second best player above Holmgren, right? But, it's hard to, they're used to playing without him, no doubt about it.
So the other kind of side of this angle when it comes to this series, but in a positive light, Austin Reaves has returned. So he has a couple games under his belt, but he hasn't played well this season in the regular season in the 3 contests that he had against the Thunder. I think a lot of that, we've talked often, is the physicality and the size at times. Despite how great Austin is, he averaged 14 points, which is the second lowest average versus any opponent this season on 43% shooting, just 23% from deep. What do you expect, and what can, I guess, Austin, and it's not just on Austin, but what can he do in terms of getting himself going and being successful?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack there. I feel like OKC, more than any team that I can remember, their strength is their ability to attack defensively in terms of the ball handlers, pick and rolls. They're so versatile. They're strong. They don't let you get into anything early. And the good news is that the Lakers saw that a lot with the young Houston team. I mean, Amen Thompson is as good as anyone, right? So it's not like Austin has never played against this style, but OKC was ready for the Lakers when they had Luka and AR as well, and trying to get them out of their stuff. And they were able to do it because of how good they are defensively. So it's going to be a tough series for everyone. I guess my take is it doesn't just fall on Austin Reaves. Like, it's got to be other guys. LeBron, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard's got to get back to doing what he was doing early in that Houston series and what he did at the end of the regular season, initiating and finding ways creatively to get Austin Reaves downhill. Because when he gets downhill, like he did in the third quarter against Houston, when we went for 8 straight points, that's when he's successful. Then he gets fouled. Then he gets to the line. He'll start to hit his threes. I think his shooting will come around. And if he can get going a little bit, everyone's seen it before. He's shut up the doubters for his whole career.
Yeah, that game 6 was really important in my mind because Austin shot a lot better, looked a lot more comfortable. In that game 5, he made, 4 shots and missed a lot.
This is funny because he started 2 of 3, so he really didn't make much after that. Yeah,
he made only 2 the rest of the way, right? It was funny, Allie. Back when the Lakers were playing the Spurs in the early 2000s, Bruce Bowen, a really good defender, Phil Jackson once called him Edward Scissorhands. And for you, that's a movie with Johnny Depp.
I've seen it.
Okay. Oh, wow, what? Stop the podcast.
I wanted to be him for Halloween.
Podcast just ended.
And Johnny Depp had little scissors instead of hands. OKC is an entire team of scissor hands.
Yeah.
I mean, and what is that exactly? What was Phil Jackson talking about? The way Bruce Bowen would hand check Kobe, chop him, slash him, grab him. All these things kind of like, borderline illegal. But Phil was trying to get the refs to step in there and say, stop, tweet. I don't even remember what happened in that series, but the scissor hand things always stuck with me. And now, is the NBA, are the refs going to let OKC get away with clutching and grabbing Austin Reaves? They're not going to try it against LeBron. He'll just, rip right through it. But, guys like AR really are going to be pressured to perform with a lot of hand checking, Geet, a lot of chopping, a lot of kung fu stuff going on out there. And I hope the refs call it.
How this series is officiated is going to be a big part of this because we see it time and time again how frustrated teams get because OKC plays that style of defense and you're not going to call foul on every single play. Also, the control room is up in arms right now because that's where you say I've seen it. Like, I don't know if we call BS on that, but like.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, like.
Edward Scissorhands?
Like.
No,
I haven't seen
promise,
Wedding
like 10.
Crashers, Star Wars, Shawshank Redemption, but yeah, I saw Edward Scissorhands.
I was like
what?
10.
How?
I was actually just
on a
processing
plane?
that in my brain. I was like 10. That and the Chucky movies were like on repeat in my house. Tells you everything you need to know about Allie's childhood.
Yeah.
Allie, actually, you impressed by sitting down and saying, "May the 4th be with you." You know, the big Star Wars.
She would never do that.
On May 4th.
She would never do that.
Yeah.
Watch that.
No,
There you go. Allie, do you know the difference?
Sounds like Star Trek. Never seen it though.
Do you know the difference, real quick, between C-3PO and R2-D2?
It sounds like a route in football.
Good one.
What? What?
You got the tall, kind of bronze one. You got the short, little blue and white robot.
Yoda?
Yoda's green.
He was part of it too. He was in the mix.
No, I've really seen Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
You know Chewbacca?
The Neighborhood. I love The Neighborhood.
Okay, Allie's guys.
And I've seen E.T.
Okay.
Whoever's making that
Phone
noise
home,
in my
bro.
ear.
Phone home.
Phone
That was
home.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Did you cry for E.T.?
No, I was a child. I don't think I probably processed or understood what I was watching.
Yeah.
I saw it with my grandma. She was bawling the entire time when I was a kid. And I'm like,
I thought you were going to say the control room was up in arms from just the standpoint of this is something that JJ Redick has been already preaching mentality-wise when it comes to the officiating
yeah.
of this series.
I'm
because
telling you,
there
it's a
is-
big part of this series. Like them
I like what he's
turning
doing.
the Lakers over. You saw it in the Houston series. And, you know, are they going to call fouls? And you saw who did they play in the first round? They absolutely dismantled.
Who? The Thunder? Suns.
Phoenix.
Phoenix,
You know,
yeah.
Phoenix could played about it. Like, you know, I mean, it's in, you know, Dort is he's
the king
taking
of-
guys out of series, right? Like it's
Whether they do or
Wild.
don't, you have to be able to mentally play through it, no matter what.
100%.
And I think if you're able to get your mind, as JJ is, I believe, probably emphasizing that in practices and stuff, the better off you're going to put yourself in a position to be in. The Thunder have a star in SGA, we know that, but they also have a slew of players that play with that toughness and grittiness and physicality that we're mentioning. Obviously, the Lakers have a guy in Marcus Smart like that, guys like Jared Vanderbilt. You know how every series can dictate who plays, who is a part of your rotation. Do you think that's a way in which the Lakers should lean in to begin with? Maybe from that mentality, playing those guys like a Vando?
Yeah, I mean,
Marcus
for
Smart,
me,
you know, is playing.
I'm glad that you put in Vando because I felt when the Lakers were on that great run and then they went to OKC, and everyone remembers that night. It was a Thursday night. They lost to OKC. They got absolutely hammered, and they lost Luka and AR in the same game. I'm expecting Vando to be a bigger part than he was in Houston because once AR came back, then that rotation, he goes to 9th instead of 8th. But I still believe he's valuable. And I understand offensive part of the game and tighten the rotations. But I think in this series, the answer is absolutely yes. I just think you have to have some physicality, some motor, a guy that can muck it up, a guy that can play the way they play. And this is a series, I think, where Vando can be a part of it.
This series, a series like this, is why Rob Pelinka gave Vando that 4-year extension a couple years ago. I mean, he's got to be here to try to shut down some of these really talented wings, even besides Jalen Williams. I mean, these guys are loaded. I mean, A.J. Mitchell, like, I didn't even know who he was till, like, a couple
Gauchos.
months ago. Former Gaucho, right? Yeah. And I think he was their 4th leading scorer this season. Like, what?
Can score.
He was a 2nd-round pick.
I mean, they also have bigs. They have, Caruso.
2 really good bigs. DeAndre Ayton's he's gonna have his hands full in this series for sure.
There's not going to be anything easy about this series.
No.
But buckle up. It begins on Tuesday. For now, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at some key stats that might be the key to pulling up another upset in the second round. Hoops fans, Morongo Casino Resort and Spa is a great place to catch all the action.
They've got great bars with incredible beers and cocktails.
Fantastic food, too, from snacks to seafood to steaks.
And big screens everywhere showing all the big games.
Endless slots and table games. I never want to leave.
Don't forget the great deals at Desert Hills Premium Outlets. Can't wait to show you what I got.
That's why I love Morongo.
A slam dunk of good times every time.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa is a California licensed gambling facility. You must be 18 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to the Lakeshow podcast. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists on the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. At practice, JJ Redick shared some insights on their next opponent.
You know, we saw a stat in our morning meeting this morning, like of teams that have had back-to-back or even more than that, 10 or more better net ratings in consecutive seasons. You're talking about the 95-96 Bulls, the 96-97 Bulls, and then the 15 through 17 Warriors. You're literally talking about two of the greatest teams of all time. I said to a bunch of people yesterday off-site that were, talking about this series to me. I said, yeah, the Thunder are one of the greatest teams ever in NBA history. That's just the reality. They're that good. I think our guys recognize that and respect that, and we know what kind of task we have in front of us.
So it's time now for Bucket or Brick, presented by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Play responsibly. You must be 18 years or older. We heard how Redick feels about the Thunder in comparison to those 95-97 Bulls and 15-17 Warriors teams. So
Impressive.
Bucket or Brick, my question to you, the Thunder are one of the greatest teams ever in NBA history.
Go ahead, Brez.
Brick. It's too soon. It's too soon. They've won one title, And I got tricked by them earlier this season when they were, 22-1 or whatever it was?
I think.
Yeah, this is a brick. And they ended up not being 22-1 or not keeping that pace, obviously. I remember saying on this very podcast in December, oh, yeah, they're going to break the Warriors' all-time wins record. And, hey, don't get me wrong, OKC still cruised to the number one seed in the West, best record in the league, but too soon to compare them to those two teams that you just mentioned. Way too soon. Formidable, but I'll tell you what, I'm not handing the championship to them this season. There's some pretty good teams out there still.
All right, I like that answer, Brez. So I'll back it up. I'll say Brick just because I agree with what he said in terms of I guess we can talk about it down the road. I mean, they are definitely a phenomenal basketball team, and they are one of the deepest teams I've ever seen. But I need to see them win more titles before I put them in with Lakers, Bulls, Celtics, Warriors type of dynasty runs. But they're going to have a shot. But we'll see.
All right, so when it comes to this matchup, to say the Lakers are an underdog entering this series versus OKC is an absolute understatement. The Thunder only lost 18 of their 82 games, and 6 of those were without Shea. But according to analyst Iztok Franco, if the Lakers can hit some key marks versus the Thunder, they might have a chance. So I'm going to give you guys some Laker keys that were noticed in those Thunder losses, and I want you to tell me, are the Lakers hitting the mark or are you hitting the panic button? Okay. Key number 1, the Lakers need to average 119.5 points and win the 3-point battle by shooting 41%. Here's your note. OKC shot only 32% from outside in 12 losses with Shea playing.
Hit the mark because I feel like the Lakers are going to, now for the whole series, they got to hit 41% of their threes. I mean, I feel like they're going to have some games where they hit that mark. And they could win those games. The one that concerns me is the 119 points per game. I don't see the Lakers winning these games 128 to 126. I feel like, especially without Luka. If Luka was here, I think it could be a different style of game. I think it's got to be uglier than that for the Lakers to win the series. There's got to be some ugly games. But 100%, that stat of 40 and 41%, hit the mark, and you can win some games.
Yeah, this is partial. I'll just hit the panic for the other reason.
Yeah.
Look, OKC just averaged 122 a game against Phoenix, and even if the Lakers hit 119 a game, it's going to be hard to, beat OKC. It just is. This team is rolling. And 2 of those games were without Shea, where they, their final game, I think they had 128 in game 4, complete the sweep against Phoenix. They didn't even miss Jalen Williams. So, I'm going to hit the panic on that one.
All right, key number 2. Lakers need to dominate the offensive boards with a positive rebounding differential. Note, in 12-game losses with Shea, the Thunder opponent had an average margin of +12. They're literally giving you the secret to success.
I'll hit the panic button because I do think this is an area of concern, and it was in the Rockets series. Now, the Lakers were able to win 3 of those games, getting out-rebounded by a large margin. But in Game 6, the Lakers showed that they are capable, and they dominated Houston on the board. So, yes, it is a key to winning this series, but it is a part of the panic for me, is the offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding against this team.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the panic too. I think Ayton can do it. Ayton's going to be there. He's going to get his boards. but the Lakers need to be a good gang rebounding team. Rui's got to be flying in from the corner. If he gets passed up on a shot, goes the other corner, Rui, you got to be a corner rebounder. That's J.J. Redick's phrase from last season. You got to hit the glass. Marcus Smart, you too. LeBron, obviously, not too worried about him getting his rebounds, but it's got to be more than Ayton and LeBron, period.
All right. Key number 3, limit turnovers and create more turnovers than the Thunder. Your note, OKC still won turnover battle in 12 losses with Shea, but their margin was lower, going from 4.4 to 2.2. I think this is just naturally a key that should be in every series. You guys
Yeah.
play the basketball.
Of course, it's a key. Yeah. So you're asking me if it's a panic or a hit the mark? I mean, this is a panic for sure because that's the strength of OKC and it's a weakness of the Los Angeles Lakers. And again, we saw it throughout the entire Houston series. This was a big storyline. It was 3 games where the Lakers had over 20 turnovers. Now, they happened to win 2 of those, but the turnovers were down in Game 6, and you saw what happened. They were able to blow them out. OKC is a much different team. They're a much better offensive team than the Houston Rockets. So if the Lakers lose this battle, then it's going to be a long series.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the panic button too on this, I guess. What you can't do against this team, and again, it goes back to their physical contact, the way they foul you without getting fouled, and you don't want to give up too many turnovers leading to dunks at the other end. That can be demoralizing. So, OKC is really good at forcing these turnovers. And you know what? So are the Lakers. Like Marcus Smart, he had 5 steals in that big Game 3 win against Houston.
Lakers are better defensively than people give them credit.
Yeah, and Vando can cause problems. They have their own Edward Scissorhands in Vando. He can get in there and chop up one of the offensive players. So, maybe I'm back to hitting the mark on that. I think I just did a 180.
Yeah, there you go. Hit the mark on that one,
yeah,
Brez.
Yeah.
Hit the mark on that one. When it comes to the series alone, what do you guys think is the most interesting matchup inside of it?
Well, I mean, you can pick so many, but I'll go with the same one I did in the Houston series. I went Şengün versus Ayton. I'll go Chet versus Ayton.
Okay.
Because I feel like Chet is that guy that is their X factor because he's so good and he's that all-star, but it's all about Shea and Jay Will. Like Ayton did such a good job, I thought, in that series. Even in the games he wasn't scoring. And then he had those few games where he was a scoring machine.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be a scoring machine for the Lakers to win, but he's got to be a defensive. He's got to be good on these bigs. He's got to box out. He's got to block shots. He's got to be engaged. He's got to create offensive rebounds. And he did that in that series. He was fantastic in the series. He needs to have even a better series against these guys. So for me, that's a huge part of it. I think if Hartenstein and Chet are dominant in that part, then it could be a tough road.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'm going to go with Marcus Smart and SGA. I mean, SGA presumably the back-to-back MVP. We're going to find out probably within a few weeks if that's for sure or not. And SGA really is the one who held that team together this season. As we already talked about, Jalen Williams missed a lot of time. Hartenstein missed some time. Shea just kept averaging 32 a game, whatever he was at. And what's that ridiculous stat where he has 20-plus points a game dating like a couple seasons now? I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy just falls out of bed and he's got 22 points. It's ridiculous. So to me, Marcus Smart has to be that guy to shut down probably the two times in a row MVP, Allie.
This isn't a matchup, but I think it's one of the fun, intriguing storylines. I don't even think it's a intrigue that LeBron, JJ, and Mark Dacknell are all 41 years old.
By the way, it's
I think that's
great
incredible.
stat that I was told before the show because
Yeah.
I'm using it in a different show.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable stat. Like what?
That's.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
LeBron, same age as
Yeah.
the coaches.
Yeah.
The coaching battle will be interesting.
Yeah.
Biggest X factor in this series. Who did you guys take in the last series?
So there was a Rui, DA.
I think it was those two.
It was those two.
Yeah.
I'm going with Austin Reaves, actually, Brez,
Ooh.
because I feel like you showed the stat
like it.
earlier. He hasn't had great games against OKC, and this is a series where you wish you were completely healthy with Luka, so you had that, alpha scorer star to combat SGA. It's not going to be all on Austin Reaves by any means, but he's got to have a great series for the Lakers to have a chance. A great offensive series.
Yep.
And that's just the truth. Like, so does LeBron. So Rui's got to hit shot. All of that is true. But AR can swing it.
Yep.
I'm going to go with DeAndre Ayton. I thought he was really good last series. I mean, Şengün looked like a giraffe on skates. I mean, he shot 46.5%, just not an all-star at all. And Ayton had a lot to do with that. I thought Ayton's defense in Game 2 of that Houston series. It was
Yeah.
outstanding.
Game 2.
Even though he didn't score a lot that game.
Yep.
So now you've got double trouble with Hartenstein and, of course, Chet Holmgren. So DA's really got to be, head on the swivel on that post. And Holmgren's going to try to take people out, too, and hit some threes.
His ability to guard Şengün one-on-one was a big part of that
Incredible.
series. Yeah.
I mean, Şengün,
especially without Durant, right? Because Şengün became the hub.
Şengün got better as the series went on. But
sure.
his first couple of games, it was like, who is this guy? I mean, it was DA did a really nice job in that series. Can he replicate it against two really good bigs for OKC?
All right, we don't have a lot of time. You're off to New York?
Off to New York.
And then Minnesota?
And then Minnesota. Good times.
Get it, kid.
And you come back here in between, is that right?
Yeah, I come back here.
We'll see you when we
But
see you.
I'll see you on the weekend, whenever the weekend comes.
fun.
I don't even know the schedule. That does it for this edition of the Lakeshow podcast,
See you in
presented
June,
by
Allie.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.